Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's action figure showcase, we have the final 10 of my favorite figures in my custom collection. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. We have finally made it. Today is the last in the top 50 customs in my collection. So we've got number 10 all the way down to 1, and it was a difficult road getting here. There was, like I said, in the very first episode I did of this, starting with number 50, I just kind of went through my figure shelves. I grabbed a bunch of customs that I liked, and I had way more than 50, and I left a lot on the shelves as well. I have so many customs in my collection, and while I'm fond of all of them, it was really hard to narrow it down, but I'm really happy with the 10 that I have here, and really depending on the day, you could swap around some of these, but these are pretty close to my favorites all the time. Like when I'm just looking at the shelf, I'm looking at figures, if I am just like, I like to take a figure with me in the car. I like to fidget, and sometimes I'll just bring one with, you know? And these 10 are high on that list of figures that are gonna make the trip with me. So let's get started. Number 10 here, we have my custom Jeff Jarrett figure, and this is one that just, everything about it, I feel like just turned out really well. I'd wanted to make a Jeff Jarrett for a really long time, and just wasn't sure about pieces. I didn't have a head sculpt for him. I didn't know if we were gonna get anything from Mattel, which we did. We had a very short hope of having an Ultimate Edition of him, and then he was gone from the company before that ever even got close to happening. So eventually I made my own, and here we've got him from like his late run in WWE, or when he went over to WCW. So he's got the short hair. This head is from Head Gimmicks. I think it's a fantastic sculpt. The hair here is one of my favorite things about it. I wasn't quite sure what I was gonna do with color, so what I did was just go in with a little bit darker brown than what I had done the rest of the hair with, and then I went over it and kind of did a dry brush with some blonde, which I feel like ended up working out exactly how I wanted. For the facial hair, it's like a very light brown, blondish, so you can see it, but it wasn't like very prominent on him. And I like did it with the blonde, I brushed over it with that light brown again, and I was really happy with how that head sculpt turned out. And then for the t-shirt, I just cut off some of like the normal t-shirt that we get from Mattel, so it's more like a shorter kind of crop top look, which is how Jeff wore it. And then the formula is another one that I messed around with a few different things and settled on this, but he's got double jointed arms. I used Tyson Kidd legs so that he would have that mold for the trunks. Painted his boots silver, gave him the McDavid logos on his knee pads, and then the torso is from a British Bulldog figure, I want to say. So it's like, it's kind of got that bigger shape, but he's not super ripped by any means. So this was a figure that, like, I personally am not a huge Jeff Jarrett fan. I think I always just thought that he thought he was bigger than he was. And like, I don't dislike the person, I just like the character Jeff Jarrett. Just never really did much for me, and as a kid, I loathed him. But the custom itself, one of my favorites. That's why he made it into the top 10. Number 9 on my list is going to be my custom Big Daddy V. And if you've watched any of my videos, if you've watched this top 10 or top 50 videos, you'll have heard me say I like making the big guy wrestlers. Jax made big guys, but all of them were basically the same size, same mold. They were like Big Daddy V was basically the same height as Rey Mysterio back in the Jax days, and that sucked because obviously that's not how it worked out in real life. With Mattel, there's so many parts available. You can really do the big wrestlers well, and this is one of them that I was really excited to finally do, and it came out really well. I did do this for Work in Progress Wednesday, so it does get a little more detailed there, but I had curb stomp decals. I had the singlet actually from an old Jax figure. This is from a Jax as well, the head scan. It's repainted though to match a little bit better. So we've got the tattoos on the front and back. And then a Yokozuna was the base body for this. So it is in scale with the other Viscera figures we've gotten, or Mabel figures, what have you. But it was a lot of fun, and being able to add Big Daddy V to the collection was really cool. So that is why he made number 9 on the list. Number 8 on my list is going to be the Olympic hero himself. We have Kurt Angle in his camo attire. And this is one that, again, I always really liked this attire. I thought it was really cool. It was different for Kurt Angle. Normally he had a design, and I thought the red, white, and blue with some gold camo was a cool look, and finally doing it in figure form was a lot of fun. I enjoy painting camouflage. Once I'm done, I think the designs always look really cool, but it does get a little tedious, so I typically will push off designs like this, but this is one of the Kurts I did. I'm really happy with how it all turned out. I repainted the torso and the head. This was an old Jax head. It's just camo all the way around, white boots and everything, but I needed a ruthless aggression Kurt Angle, and what they've given us so far has only, I think we got the Team Angle one. Did we get another ruthless aggression one? I'm gonna look at my shelf. I don't think so. So this was kind of supposed to be like his earlier ruthless aggression, maybe like SmackDown 6 kind of era, so I could put him next to my Benoit and my Guerreros and everything on the shelf. But this is probably my favorite Kurt. I do have another Kurt it just, like, as far as my favorite customs, it wasn't quite as clean as I would like, so didn't make the list, but still, that's another one I really like. This right here, my favorite Kurt that I've done, number 8 on the list. Number 7 is going to be my custom New Japan Hiroshi Tanahashi. And admittedly, I'm not even like a big Tanahashi fan specifically. I have talked before about how I started watching New Japan after I saw that first match with Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada. And at that point, Tanahashi was, I won't say he wasn't in his prime, but his best days as far as being the face of New Japan, I feel like we're behind him. They were kind of moving on. It was more Okada, Omega was big, and then Jay White came along, Will Ospreay came along, and Tanahashi's always been important to New Japan. But by the time I made Tanahashi, it was well past his peak days. But I love this figure because it turned out really well. I really like how the part selections look. I think you could have gotten away using a Triple H torso for Tanahashi at one point. I think that's a little big, so I went with the Sting torso like I did with the Marcus Corvan or Monty Brown figure, where he's still kind of got that big shape, but it's not super ripped up. He's got Hulk Hogan arms, I want to say, and then the legs are from a Ricky Steamboat, and the decals were the clear decals, so they went on really clean. I think that the attire itself just looks really cool. The black knee pads stick out. Just everything about this custom I was really happy with. The hair here, I got a nice dry brush on it. Got the nice dark brown with the light color over it. The head sculpt looks good. The eyes turned out well. I got lip color in there. I have no complaints about this custom. So while I'm not a massive fan of Hiroshi Tanahashi, I am a massive fan of this custom. Here we go. Number 6 in my collection of my favorites is my custom Elite TNA or Impact Josh Alexander. And this is, again, I'm not this huge Josh Alexander fan. I have seen some of his matches and I think he's a fantastic wrestler, which is why I wanted to make him in the first place, and kind of got me started on wanting to make some more TNA and Impact guys. But he's got a cool look. For him, I used a Ryback torso with some Stone Cold lowers, not Stone Cold, ringmaster with some Stone Cold lower legs is what I did. But there was just so much to do here. Like the formula is unique because he's got a singlet, but he doesn't have like the like it doesn't cover his upper legs. I used the awesome lowers. It was just a fun formula to put together. And then obviously he's got a cool design. So this attire specifically was from Slammiversary, and it had like some inspirations from a bunch of different TNA things. It was like kind of Kurt Angle inspired. So I liked this attire, but then we've got like, he's got headgear, which I think is different. There's just so much uniqueness to this figure. He's got tattoos. It was just a lot of fun to make this figure. So again, while he's not like one of my favorite wrestlers, as far as customs, I had an absolute blast doing this, and it turned out well, so that's why he's number 6. All right, we are to the final 5 here, and number 5 is going to be my custom Lio Rush. This was a figure I wanted to make for a really long time. I wanted a Lio Rush in my collection, just because he is another guy who has just such a unique look. He's a cruiserweight, so he's a smaller figure, which that's another thing. Like, same thing as with the big guys for Jax. I said Rey Mysterio was the same height as Big Daddy V, which actually that one he might have been a little shorter, but he was pretty much the same height as The Undertaker. And with cruiserweights, these are also figures that are done so well. We've got a lot of part choices for them. For my custom, I used a Rey Mysterio Top Picks body. I just acetoned off all of the tattoos and everything. The head scan is from Heteration, and this was one that he included if you ordered like during SummerSlam or something. So I put in my order, got this Lio Rush head scan, or head sculpt, and then he also has another one that has like the longer dreads, which is kind of what the look that Lio Rush has right now, I believe. The hands, I did use some Zelina Vega hands because the other hands are too big. So there was a lot that went into this as far as pieces. But then like all the fun came from painting the head sculpt and then doing all of the decals. So many decals, this is a custom I would have never tackled before because there was so much to do. I had to paint the feet, get the decals on the legs, the knee pads, all of the tattoos. I'm really happy with how the paint on the sculpt looks. I went with so I painted all of this black, and then I painted the like lighter, like the blondish, I think I used like a butterscotch color for it, and gave him the fade and everything, so I'm really happy with that. All the tattoos look great. Just easily one of my favorite figures in my collection that of all of my collection, not just customs, but definitely at the top of my list for customs. The other ones I had are just perfect in my eyes. Number 4 on my list is going to be my Ultimate Edition WCW Booker T. So this one is one I had a ton of fun making, and it was very nostalgic for me because I had the Toy Biz figure in this white attire, and it also is what I think should have been included in the Nitro stage. I think this would have helped a lot, getting a Booker T looking like this. With mine, I think I'd already made it before they had announced the stage, I'm pretty sure. But then we did just recently get one announced in the Attitude Era, Best of the Attitude, or is that what it is? Not Best of Attitude, Monday Night Wars line. But that's still going to be a Harlem Heat Booker T, so I don't know why they're pushing off just singles release Booker T. But I mean, until we get that, I am very happy with what I have here. I used a Legends Edge figure for the upper legs. The lower legs, I want to say, are from a Junkyard Dog figure, pretty sure. And then the boots are from a Mean Mark Callis, and then I sculpted the straps over them, which is, we've never gotten just fully accurate boots for Booker T, so I really like that touch. And I've done it with another Booker T figure, but since it's black straps over the red boots, it really stands out. We've got the it's the Ultimate Edition, it's the Mr. T torso. I painted some Undertaker hands so that he had like the white short fingered gloves. Just one of my favorite customs. I considered having it at number 1, but I think just because I've had it as long as some of these are a little bit newer, and like just the details that went into them made it a little bit harder to keep Booker up there, but still easily one of my favorite customs in my collection here at number 4. Number 3 is going to be a duo. We've got a tag team here, and this was a tag team I wanted to make for a long time in these attires. I just had no clue how to do it, but eventually we figured it out. We pieced it together. We have my custom ECW Dudley Boyz, and these, like I said, I tried to figure out a formula for them for a long time. Couldn't really think of anything I liked, and then sometimes it just pops in your head, and this was the case. So I've had people ask for the formula, and I try to give it to them, but there was so much that went into this. These guys do have a Legends contract now, so we should be getting some Dudleys. If we get ECW Dudleys, I'll be so happy. I'll be ecstatic if we get that, but if not, I'm really happy with my customs here. So with Devon, I used an Undertaker crotch piece, a t-shirt from the Farouk APA figure. I used John Cena shorts legs. I used Kushida knee pads and Sami Zayn boots. And then the Bubba Ray is a Kevin Owens with Cesaro calves and Cowboy Bob Orton boots. And then the shoulders and the arms are from a Shane McMahon figure, I believe. Either Shane McMahon or Boss Man. They both had that t-shirt, that like baggy t-shirt mold for their arms. And then the lower arms for Bubba are Wade Barrett arms. And then I think for Devon, those are just like some Xavier Woods arms I painted. And then both of their heads are from the Jack's Titantron Live line. I put the glasses on them, and then I glued, I put a little spot of glue so the glasses wouldn't come off. But then I put the hat on Bubba as well, just to give it a different look. But the decals for that Dudley Boyz shirt are from Curb Stomp. They're the Ghost White decals. I did all the painting for the purple and the blue shirt, and these are just kind of inspired from the original San Francisco Toy Makers figures they had. And I think actually the Bubba, I'm trying to remember exactly, this Bubba kind of looks like the Jax figure I had of him from his ECW era, but oh, and then this part is actually from the Jazzwares is it Santana? That was the one that's from? Yeah, I think so. Or Ortiz. Can't remember which one I took it from. Anyway, so much went into them that, like, I've had people ask for a commission as well, but the pieces were just so random and hard to get that it was a real hodgepodge. But I am so happy with how they look. I really, really like these. These are some of my favorite ECW customs for sure. And I've made a bunch of ECW, like that'll be a showcase of its own too. But yeah, we're getting more Dudley Boyz. We're supposed to get them in the Legends, or they have Legends contracts, so we're supposed to get more of them. So them along with the Steiners, just give me every single look you can. I will buy every single one, and I might not even wait until clearance. But anyway, that is my Dudley Boyz. They are number 3 on my top 50 customs. Number 2 on my list, which I did go back and forth. I considered this at number 1, but it was a coin flip. I love this figure so much. It is my custom AEW All-In Juice Robinson, and this figure was a blast to make. Originally, I had planned on doing the Juice Robinson in his jeans look, and then about the time I was about to order, Curb Stomp threw up the tights look, and I hadn't seen anyone do this, so I decided to upload it myself. The head is from House 14. I think it is a fantastic scan. The reason I like it so much is just the boots turned out really cool, the tights look good, and then the head sculpt, I'm really happy with how the paint turned out for it. It matches well. I tried to do a little bit of fading in the beard to give it more texture. The head sculpt itself just has tons of texture to it. I think it looks really good. It's kind of hard to tell with the camera, I guess. On the hair, I did a little bit of, yeah, like you can't really tell, I guess, on camera, but I made it a little bit lighter down here, the way his hair actually is, and then darker up top. But the boots, those look fantastic. I painted the red on the bottom, and then the flames and the skulls are decals. It says juice on the back there. Just, it came out perfect. Like most of the time when I order decals, I'll look at the decals and then I'll look at pictures to make sure I'm doing them correctly. And the more I looked at, it was kind of hard for some reason to find Juice Robinson pictures from All In. But the more pictures I saw, just the more little detail I realized, and then I just kept adding more and more of the little things, like the black on the calves, the black laces, the red on the bottom of the boots, and I think it just came together and made a really, really cool custom. So number 2 on my list, which leaves one final custom. All right, last but not least, my favorite custom in my collection currently is my Ultimate Edition All-In CM Punk from his final appearance in AEW, which at the time I didn't know if it was going to be his last ever wrestling appearance, but this is my favorite custom for a lot of reasons. It was a lot of fun. The CM Punk figures that we have to date, I think the Jazzwares figures are fine. I do like a lot of the head sculpts. I don't like how long and skinny his legs are. And then the Mattel figures are good. I like those, but he's on ratchet joints, which I absolutely loathe. I feel like it doesn't give Punk the range of motion we need to kind of pose him, really get our money's worth with his figures. So I went ahead, I used some Ringmaster legs here, so he's got the ball joints. I think this attire is really cool. I like the white with the red and the blue. I'd use decals for everything on here, for his arm tattoos, his chest tattoos. We've got butterfly joints. We've got the tattoos on the knees. We've got decals for the knee pads. He's got the Ultimate Edition toe articulation as well. We've got all of the tattoos we needed. I used some painter's tape for the wrist tape just to give it a little bit different texture as opposed to just painting it. And then the head is custom as well. So that head is a House 14 head. It was from when he was in UFC. That's kind of what they were going for when they referenced that, but he kind of had that shaved head look when he wrestled that last match. So that's what I ended up giving him. And I just think this custom just turned out so well. I really like this torso for Punk. I like it for a lot of guys. I feel like it captures that kind of bigger, he's not huge, he's not ripped, but he's not super skinny like that Daniel Bryan torso. So I just really, really like this custom. And again, I could move all of these around. I really like all of these. Obviously, they're in my top 10, and I did 50 of them. So you could move a lot of them around, but for the time being, and maybe we'll get an Ultimate Punk and I'll be like, wow, this thing sucks. Well, maybe not sucks, but maybe this won't live up to what we get from an actual Ultimate Punk, and he'll move down my customs list. But nonetheless, there it is. There is my top 50. I've done all of these just by tens at a time. I am gonna make just put them all together in one big video. So if you did miss some other videos, you want to check out the whole thing, I'll throw it all together, edit it up a little bit so you can just plow through 50 all the way down to 1 if you'd really like to. But other than that, I think I am going to just try to get all of my customs up and do a massive tournament and just have people vote and see what people think is my best custom I've ever done. So I'll organize that some way or another. We'll put some polls on YouTube or Instagram or something. But stick around. If you got some ideas for that might work smoother, let me know. I'd be happy to hear your opinions. Outside of that, please continue to like, share, subscribe. Throw me ideas for showcases. This kind of came from some other people's ideas in the comments. So if you've got ideas, throw them out. I appreciate them. Please continue. Did I say this? Continue to like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. And lastly, remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude out.